Part 6. Palm Beach 2005. The investigation that should have ended everything, and how it didn't. We are now entering the legal turning point of the documentary. When silence finally cracked, every system that protects power has a weak point, not because the system wants one, but because patterns eventually collide with reality. For Jeffrey Epstein, that collision happened not in a courtroom, not in Washington, not in New York, but in Palm Beach, Florida, a quiet, wealthy coastal town, where the first official record of his crimes would be written. Section 1. A single complaint. In early 2005, Palm Beach police received a complaint. It was not dramatic. It was not public. It was not political. It came from a concerned parent. The report described a minor invited to a wealthy man's home, offered money, placed in an inappropriate situation. To police, this sounded serious, but not yet systemic. What changed everything was what came next. Section 2. The second, third, and fourth story. As detectives began investigating, additional reports surfaced. Then more. Then more. Each account shared similarities. Age range, location, method of recruitment, payment. These were not identical stories. They were consistent patterns. For investigators, this is critical. Patterns turn suspicion into probability. Section 3. How police built the case. Palm Beach police did not rush. They conducted interviews, compared testimonies, documented timelines, gathered corroboration. Detectives later stated that witnesses did not know each other. Details aligned independently. Stories evolved naturally, not rehearsed. This mattered. It suggested authenticity, not coordination. Section 4. When a name changes everything. Then detectives learned who the accused was. Jeffrey Epstein. A wealthy, well-connected figure. A donor. A man with legal resources. At this moment, the investigation entered a different phase. Not officially, but practically. Because cases involving powerful individuals do not proceed like ordinary cases. Section 5. The evidence file. Police compiled a substantial file. According to later statements and records, it included multiple victim accounts, corroborating witnesses, physical descriptions, consistent locations. Local detectives believed they had enough evidence for serious felony charges. They recommended prosecution. This is where the system intervened. Section 6. Jurisdictional shift. Instead of remaining solely a local case, the matter moved toward federal consideration. On paper, this looked appropriate. Interstate implications. Severity of allegations. In reality, it changed everything. Federal involvement often means longer timelines, closed-door negotiations, political sensitivity. Momentum slowed. Section 7. The role of prosecutors. Prosecutors are not just legal actors. They are political ones. They must consider probability of conviction, resource expenditure, reputational impact. In Epstein's case, federal prosecutors ultimately declined to pursue the most serious charges. This decision shocked local law enforcement. Section 8. The plea deal takes shape. Behind the scenes, negotiations began. Lawyers spoke. Terms were discussed. Limits were set. What emerged in 2008 was a plea agreement that would later be described by judges as extraordinary. Epstein avoided federal charges, pleaded guilty only to state offenses. received a limited sentence. Victims were not informed in advance. This violated their rights under federal law. Section 9. Why this deal was unusual. Legal experts later pointed out the scale of allegations did not match the outcome. Non-prosecution agreements were extended broadly. Potential co-conspirators were shielded. This was not routine. This was containment. Section 10. Law enforcement reaction. Local detectives were outraged. They had invested years, built detailed cases, trusted the process. Instead, the process bypassed them. One investigator later stated publicly that justice had been compromised. Section 11. The message sent. The plea deal sent a powerful message, not just to Epstein, but to the system. It said, wealth mitigates consequences. Negotiation can replace accountability. Silence is enforceable. For victims, the message was harsher. It said, even when you come forward, the outcome may not reflect the truth. Section 12. The aftermath in Palm Beach. Epstein served his sentence under conditions that allowed extensive freedom, work release, private accommodations, minimal supervision. To the public, the case faded. But to victims, it never ended. Section 13. The long shadow of 2005. The Palm Beach case did not close the story. It postponed it. The decisions made here delayed justice, emboldened behavior, protected systems. Years later, judges would rule that victims' rights were violated. But by then, time had already done its damage. Closing of Part 6. A door left open. Palm Beach was the moment when everything could have stopped. The evidence existed. The patterns were clear. The opportunity was real. But the door was not closed. It was left open. And through that opening, the story continued. In the next part, we examine the deal itself, how it was constructed, who benefited, and why it remains one of the most controversial legal agreements in modern American justice.